So we're looking at Christian memes, parentheses, and political cartoons, I guess. Zadanza extravaganza. We're gonna look at the fine arts today, Zod. Do you have an appreciation of the arts? Are you cultured?
No, I find art disgusting.
Oh, well, fantastic. Because I think the creators of these memes also find art disgusting, because we're going to look at some awful, terrible memes, some which genuinely I think are funny, and some of which I think are really bad. And what I want for the audience to do, because we're all about audience participation here, Zod, is I would like for the audience to give their rating out of 10 for each of these memes. And then I was going to have a spreadsheet to chart and stuff, but then I realized, what am I going to do with that? There's no reason for that. So we're not doing that. But I do want to see people's reactions to our fine memes today. Let's see. So I should be able to, I can move the slide here. Let's just dive into it. I got a lot of memes for you today.
Go for it.
Now, so what we need to know about the Christian meme culture, Zod, is that they have a lot of babies in them. Have you ever noticed that? There's always babies or toddlers in a lot of these memes. Now, I could have put way more babies and toddlers in this slideshow. I could have filled the entire slideshow with baby and toddler memes, but I decided against it because I think you get the point. This is like a 3-panel thing we got going on here. It might be a little blurry for the folks at home, but it says something to the effect of, and I got my notes here, if it'll pull up in time, please. It says, why do they say amen at the end of prayer instead of a woman? And he says, no clue why. And the answer, the same reason they sing hymns instead of hers. And then both the dog and the baby look at the viewer. This is a modernist piece, I think, Zod. This says a lot about society. Of course, dogs and babies historically in Christian art have been known to communicate with each other. We see this all over scripture. There's tons of passages that allude to it that I won't give you here. So this is the art. Any ratings from here? We got a 10 out of 10 from one viewer. What do you think, Zod?
I just want to read a comment real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Boo.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what? We're here to critique. Okay. We're here to contribute to the fine arts community. So I won't hear none of this. Okay.
At least it's just a dad joke. It's a bad dad joke, even by my dad standards, but still.
And this has a lot of Christian
nothing
memes.
Really.
It's dad jokes in some form or another. Because like real humor, and not that dad jokes aren't real humor, but like other forms of humor are forbidden in Christianity because you're not allowed to be funny. Is what I've come to learn. So here's another one. I just want you to interpret what this piece says, Zod. Baptist boys and their crazy socks. Isn't that relatable? And then, of course, we got the at Baptist Memes Instagram page where I found this at.
Is there a meaning to this that I'm not picking up? Because I don't.
No, it's just Baptist boys and their crazy socks.
So do Baptist boys just generally have crazy socks?
I think that's the implication. So I wanted to bring this one to the table because I wanted you to help me out with this one, Zod. I don't know what this meme is trying to say. Now, I've been a Baptist boy, Zod. I've been around some Baptist boys. I've never seen crazy socks on a Baptist boy. Have you?
I was Pentecostal. We were crazy head to toe. Shiver says that's such a Southern Christian thing. So maybe that's just, I'm about as far from the South as you can get in being in the United States. So
now we could delve into the deep theological implications for Christians wearing crazy socks because we're supposed to be, separate from the world and all that. But I think this is just about Baptist boys and their crazy socks. I don't know if there's any much more to it. So let's go ahead and move on to our next piece. Here's another one. I put in the dad joke category, but I genuinely think this one's funny. It says, girl, I only date guys who lift me, trying to impress her. I lift his name on high. And this one made me laugh. I like this one. This is a good meme. Yeah. Right here.
I legitimately like this one. That's pretty cool.
It's a pretty good one. Now, Zod, we're seeing some mostly positive, mostly dad joke vibes from here right now. It's going to get worse from here on out. I'm just letting you know right now. We may have some splotches of sunshine and happiness, but it'll definitely get worse. And I actually have a longer version of the slideshow that we're using. We're using the short version of the slides. So, if we have time, maybe at the end, if we want to do some extras, I do have some extras, but this is the short version of the slides. So I like this meme. I give it a 10 out of 10. I give it a 9. A 9. Strong 8.
it's the best of both worlds. It's like partly just a good solid dad joke, but it feels like it has that actual Christian feel to it. I don't know.
I like it. It's a solid one. This one's not a solid one,
Zod. Oh dear me.
It says 2 things every American should know how to use, neither of which are taught in schools. Now, the implication here is that the Bible isn't taught in schools, right? And also 9mm handgun usage, I think, is not taught in the public school system. Now, I don't know why you'd want to have 9mm handgun usage taught in the public school system. But this person thinks it's important. So, yeah.
Ick. I don't know what else to say. I live in Alaska. Everybody owns guns, but I'm not the kind of weirdo that parades them. I definitely wouldn't be teaching kids how to use them in school.
See, this is go ahead. Excuse me. Pardon me.
It's a weird pairing, but one that obviously is very prevalent in our society, the whole guns and Christian thing. I think if you were to present this almost any other point in history, they would just find it very weird. But then also if you're trusting God to protect you by, using the Bible or whatever, what do you even need the gun for? You don't need to go into all the preachy stuff, but No,
I get you. See, this is the other side to Christian meme culture. So we have our dad jokes. We got the baby pictures. We got the funny pickup lines, sort of kind of humor. And then we have the political messaging that happens in some of these. So like I said, there's some darkness that's hidden in these memes and ones that are just kind of stupid. Here's one that says, a long time ago, a few bearded fishermen helped bring Christ to the world. 2,000 years later, a few bearded duckmen are helping bring Christ back to a nation. Hey, that's a fact, Jack. Now, this one, I love this one. This one is, you can taste the boomer energy. Okay. Just pure. There's this mustiness to it. It's a sweet sort of mustiness that can be consumed in this. Do you smell that odorous sort of, I still try to pick up women 20 years younger than me at my local bar sort of energy, 20, 30 years younger from this meme? Do you get that sense? Do you get that odor when you get that taste? What do you think?
There's that figurative smell.
Yeah.
This also evokes a very literal smell. At least the bottom half does.
Yeah.
I never watched Duck Dynasty, but the whole phenomenon is just weird and ick. And seeing Willie and God's Not Dead.
Yeah.
I think I know all I need to know about them.
I really love that we have the savior of all mankind, right? The big cheese, God himself, comes down to earth, and his disciples, the men who were closest with him in his human lifetime. And the closest comparison that this author chooses to make with that and people of the modern day are the folks that did the Duck Dynasty reality television show. So I don't know what that says about your religion, but if it would make me do some thinking,
okay. So there's obviously Duck Dynasty plays a bigger part in the Christian psyche than it should, in that it plays any part at all. But it seems significant. But this could be as simple as the whole bearded look and the fact that they murder animals for a living. It could be as simple as that.
I'm not sure. We have a lot. Yeah, we've got some other ones here.
I'm just happy to see that, like many people, Beyond hasn't thought about Duck Dynasty in a decade. And I hope we can continue to do that after this stream. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, like there's some, on surface level similarities here. I just think I love the, hey, that's a fact, Jack line at the end. Like, in case like the text wasn't good enough, they had to just throw in the little reference there for the folks at home. Here's another one with that boomer energy. So this is the other category that I'm showing you here, is the boomer posts, right? You can just tell how old this person is just by the way they post it. Now this one is stupid.
Sorry, I got distracted.
I love this one. If there were a cell phone at the Red Sea and people were just taking selfies with the waves, it's got great, I don't know how to use my iPhone and my grandson has to set up my Wi-Fi sort of vibe to it, Like, I hate the kids looking at their phones all the time, even though I'm on Facebook 40 hours a week. Like it's the same sort of energy coming out from this post, right? What do you think?
Those kids should be using their cell phones to get radicalized, not to take selfies. You just know these things.
Right.
And any respectable elder of the Israelites would be holding out a giant ass iPad to take their pictures, not these little cell phones.
True. That's true. Now, here's the funny thing, Zod. If I saw the Red Sea parting, you bet your ass I'm going to be taking out my phone and recording that shit. Are you kidding me? That's fucking awesome. Yeah. Why would you not do that? Like, who is going to be here and be like, oh, I can't believe this guy is recording this once in a lifetime miracle over here with his cell phone. Like what? What do you mean?
I feel like this is Christians telling on themselves just a little bit on some level, because basically you're trash talking people who actually capture evidence of miracles, because, you know, we definitely don't want that.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this one. It's dumb and it's lame, and I love it for that. Yes. So here's one that has a little bit of a story to it, Zod. It says, "Where are you in the Bible?" And it says the part that says Satan deceived the whole world. Now, you might be a little confused by this. This is one that I found on Instagram, but it led me to a Christian blog poster who has a link to his article here, which I'm going to pull up and sort of read you a quote about this man's sort of ideas about Santa Claus.
Oh, please do.
The title of this article is called "Children's Belief in Santa Claus Will Undermine Their Spiritual and Religious Development as They Grow Older," which is not a good title. It's not very succinct, but I think the HTML link at the top has a better title, which says "Santa Claus Belief Leads to Atheism," which is awesome. So basically, this guy is saying and writes this whole piece using like classic, like, I don't know, the text is all bolded, but there's like every other word is like bolded in red, you know, like that kind of like, again, using HTML for the first time to make your website kind of energy. Basically saying that, look, we can't lie to kids about believing in like Easter Bunny and Santa Claus, and when they grow up, call it fake, because those kids become atheists because they aren't going to see reason to believe in the things anymore. And so obviously this is a bad thing because, you know, God's real, but this other stuff isn't real. But there is a direct causal link between teaching your kids about Santa Claus and becoming an atheist. Of course, this is completely the author's assertions and opinion with no outside sources, but I just think this is fucking awesome. Just hilarious. Like, you know, they put time and effort into this post. They made this picture, and out of context, it's really funny. I might make this my phone background, for example, because why not? That's a conversation starter. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, first thing that popped into my mind is something that I got beaten to in the chat, which is the Santa Satan connection, which we got from Zero Neonics and AR. I've heard that one before. I was the type of Christian who we wouldn't have anything to do with Satan or Santa. No Santa pictures, no stories of Santa. I remember when I was younger, our cousins and aunt and uncle were non-believers. I think my uncle was an avowed atheist. And they said, we were telling them all the reasons that you don't believe in Santa. And they said, well, that's the same thing, but with God. And we didn't think that was super cute. But yeah,
it's not great. I just posted the link to the blog of where this is found in the comments. If folks would like to find this whole thing themselves, it is a long post, but it's really funny. I just thought that, somebody's like really concerned that we're telling kids about Santa because they're going to become atheists. And I also like the logic of, well, wait a minute, we don't have evidence for God in the same way we don't have evidence for Santa or the Easter Bunny. So like, you know, we shouldn't tell them about it, which is like so on the nose. I wish this was like fake and a parody, but this is like a real Christian blog that this came out of.
Yeah, if there is any parallel, it's that their journey of learning that Santa's not real, they're going to see the connection between that and why they believe in God.
Yeah.
And I think for this author, it was as simple as they're both part of the world. If I were to guess at least overall general vibe of it. That's what I would think. But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, YouTube might not let me post a comment in this in the chat. It might be blocking it because it's a link. I didn't think about that. But if you remember later, I will put it in the description.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's go on to our next one here. This is another one in the classic sort of Christian meme era. I love this sort of idea. I don't know what it is, but somehow, again, the boomers have access to Photoshop because like this isn't like your basic meme template, right? There's a little bit of editing, but it's like not enough to be good. It's like just enough to where somebody, maybe they have a print shop where they make t-shirts somewhere. Like they knew how to make this, which I just don't know who this person is, but you always see these images. You know what I'm talking about, Zod? You see images like this where it's like, there's enough original content to know that a human being made this, but not enough to where they know like how to download apps off the app store. Like it's like this weird in between. And it says here, people, tell them bad weather is coming and they prepare. Tell them Jesus is coming and they do nothing. And then there's, of course, classic Bible verse about, tell the Son of Man coming at the hour you think not, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, what do you think of this one, Zod?
I agree with the person who wrote this that it's very, very tragic that people know how to intelligently assess threats that you bring to their attention. Like really, that's weird. Tell them something's going to happen that they've seen happen before and know might happen. And even then they're going to fact check you. If you tell them it's going to snow dump on them tomorrow, they're going to at least look it up. They're not just going to take your word for it. If you tell them something just totally off the wall and crazy, like a religious figure is going to float down from heaven, don't act surprised if they don't see it the same way. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not great. This is not the best sort of reasoning. Like again, yeah, when bad weather is coming, generally when the weatherman says bad weather's coming, like it's gonna come. People have been saying 2,000 years now, Jesus is coming back, and it hasn't happened yet. So, you got to place your bets wisely, right?
Yeah.
I'm not holding out anytime soon on Jesus coming back, but bad weather happening, sure. That's probably a little bit more reasonable. Okay, so let's go here. Now, here's another one where it could be good or it could be bad, depending on your sense of humor. It says, guess who's back again? JC's back. Say amen. Now, Zod, do you know what this is a reference to? Because I was honestly afraid that you might not even know.
The only thing that can come to my mind is...
Oh, no, he doesn't know. Oh, he doesn't know.
The only thing that comes to my mind is the Passion of the Christ 2. This time it's personal.
Zod, it's Eminem. This is Eminem lyrics. He says, guess who's back again? Shady's back. Tell a friend. Right? This is granted, this is Eminem like 20 years ago. I thought I was safe with this one, Zod. I thought you knew. Oh my God. Well, anyway, so here's what I like about this one is that one, you didn't even know the reference, and you're like the target demographic for this meme, which is hilarious. Second thing, the fact that you're using Eminem lyrics as a reference to your meme, who is like the most non-Christian artist you could like possibly get, is really funny. So like, I don't know, does this qualify as a Christian meme? Because it's using a very secular sort of reference here. So like, if you're listening to Eminem, that's not very Christianly. You know what I mean? I don't know.
This dovetails into my defense.
Yeah.
20 years ago, I was still a Christian. I grew up my whole life not literally able to listen to no non-Christian music. And even then, they would nitpick over what kind of Christian music you were listening to and whether it adequately glorified God. So I am hugely musically illiterate. And so that's my defense. That also plays into your whole little thing.
People are mad at you in the comments, and at least one YouTuber is personally threatening to unfriend you.
Yes.
Which it's Shannon. So, of course, I would expect that because Shannon has taste and quite frankly, she's right to do that. So anyway, I'm very sad that you didn't get the Eminem reference here. But I can't say I'm 100% surprised either side.
Yeah, you should be 0% surprised. Literally anything I know about music, if it's not like massively mainstream stuff that you would have just picked up through TV culture or something like that, I just don't know.
Yeah. And also I like how they have the sunglasses on because it says back again. So it kind of makes you think it's Terminator thing. But it's actually an Eminem thing, which again, very weird zone with this one.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next one here. Now, this one we're getting into our next category. So first of all, the last category was secular world. The secular world combining with the Christian world, because like that happens in memes, and I always think that's confusing because it's like we're supposed to not be, we're not supposed to combine the two, right? They're supposed to remain separate. But some Christians think it's okay. Some Christians think it's not. Now we're going into like your uncle that doesn't talk to the rest of the family, and isn't invited to the family barbecue every year. Levels of memes. This is God made this, and we see a picture of a horizon, and man made this. Do you know what this is in reference to, Zod? Can you guess?
I didn't, but I think Shivers might have nailed it.
This is a flat Earth meme. Now, I think if you look at the flat Earth community, it is almost exclusively made up of evangelical Christians, and it's not all of them. To be fair, some of them have like other kinds of woo-y beliefs. But a very significant portion of them are made up of the Christian community. And that is explicitly because the Bible does make almost literal references to a flat earth. It's debatable, right? They talk about the pillars of the earth. There's corners of the earth. There's kind of these references to the earth maybe being underneath a dome, right? And so there's sort of like this cosmology that's depicted. Of course, Christians for years have debated on whether or not these are literal interpretations of the world or not. But the point is, these Christians definitely think it's true. And this meme is evidence of that. So yeah, the globe earth, you think that's real? Pff, that's man-made, baby. That flat earth up at the top, that's God. Okay. All God. So questions, thoughts, concerns.
I don't know what to say. I wouldn't have put this to the flat earth thing. My mind didn't go there until it came up, but I'd say it's sad, but I think I've already been far enough down this toilet that nothing, it doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah,
to me, there's enough of a distance between me and this particular kind of weirdness. It doesn't hit me as hard as like QAnon stuff that is more personal and that some people close-ish to me in life might relate to. So it is a shame, though. I'm not going to say it's not a shame.
It's a whole thing. Gotta love the flurfers. Am I right? Shout outs to the flurfer community. That's flat earth community for those who aren't in the know. Okay. Moving on.
That I didn't know.
Here's a simple one. Sins are like credit cards. It doesn't say credit card. It just says credit card, it's funnier if you say sins are like credit card. Enjoy now, pay later, which is like, okay. So you can tell, by the way, I know you're probably noticing some JPEG artifacting on these pictures. That is not me adding anything artificial. This is the original source, baby. I got these memes nice and crunchy. Okay. I found these out in the wild. So again, this is one of those memes where it's like, all right, so you know how to use Photoshop, because this kind of edit takes more than like an online photo editor, right? You have to have like some knowledge of image manipulation, but not enough to make anything actually worthwhile to the test of time. So it's like, this is the result. Like, I just don't know where these people are. I don't know where they exist or how they obtain these skills. Did they go to their local community college where somebody had to show them how to make memes for their Facebook groups? I don't know. But yet they exist and they're everywhere. They're everywhere, wherever you look. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, this is just a really basic trope of Christianity, I think. Mm-hmm. What's there to be said about it? Anything I said would be, yeah, it's like
sins are like your credit card. Enjoy now, pay later. That's it. It speaks.
You could understand this in terms of an intelligent idea of your behavior and what impact it has. They just obviously want to boil it down to sin and claim that they're right about everything that is consequential with behavior, and they have the answers.
Yeah,
I'm so blown away by the cringe that that's all I can see.
It's awesome. It's got that Nestle Crunch artifacting going on. I mean, I love it. It's super great. Really, really cool.
Can I point out one thing?
Oh yeah. Let's go back. What's up?
This looks like a really old one in general.
Yes.
Like this looks like a very old timey thing, but I noticed this card has the chip, which I find surprising. So this is probably a lot more modern than I would have thought it would have been.
Yeah, I don't know. This looks like, again, this image could have been found in a container in a vault in the Fallout universe. You know what I mean? Like on a hollow disk. Like I feel like that's the level of age we're talking about here in terms of this meme. So it is quintessential. It is of its kind. It is the perfect example, I think, the epitome, if you will.
And I don't want to park too long, but David had a really good point here. I grew up in a family that saw debt as sinful. And so I think these two things do their knee-jerk reaction to any kind of debt as if you're just like...
That's true. And you know what? I also wasn't allowed to have a credit card growing up.
Yeah.
And did not get one until several years ago. So yeah, it's not great.
Here, you're not just caught up in a cycle of poverty when you use your credit card. You're just choosing to not defer gratification. That's the way they see it. Sorry, I'm done.
Move on. I gotcha. This one is a slightly more modern meme format. This was like from a few years ago. The story goes that Ryan Reynolds showed up to a party wearing a they thought was an ugly Christmas sweater party. It was just a normal Christmas party. And so this picture is taken and people are using it, all over the place. And then of course, this is the Christian version of it. So this is my other category, which is Christians taking popular meme formats and then using it to promote Christian messages, which is me trying to leave after church and my mom and literally anyone. Now, this is another one which I think falls into the genuinely funny category because this is very visceral. Yes, this was me as a child. I deeply, deeply remember this happening. So I can really see that 10 out of 10. I agree. This is actually a good one. I like this one. This falls in the good category for me. So
I absolutely relate. And what this tells me, I was there many, many times in church, not just my parents, and I won't go any further than that, but you're ready to go out the door and it just goes on. You walk a few more steps and then they veer towards somebody else and you're just standing there just waiting to leave. And I like this because it just shows that not all Christian stuff is either horrid and evangelistic or corny or whatever. They do have parts of their culture that they can make funny, insightful statements about. And I kind of enjoy that about this.
Yep. This is a good meme. Good meme. I like it. It's a solid one. So they're not all stinkers. Okay. Some of them are good, but a lot of them are bad. This is a funny one because I think of the implications here. Now we've got when God wants to bless you, he puts a person in your life. When the enemy wants to destroy you, he also puts a person in your life. Wisdom is knowing who sent who. Now, this is extra ironic because this is Theo, I believe, from The Cosby Show. And as we all know, Bill Cosby, not a person that you want blessed in your life these days. But I like this one because it's wisdom is knowing who sent who. Is it really wisdom or is it just people's opinions? Because I think it's just people's opinions. It's kind of just oh man, the Spirit's really telling me that I'm vibing with this person, or the Spirit's telling me I got to get away from this person. And two people can have both of those takes and not be wrong. So I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
Yeah, this to me is just chalking common sense or your gut instinct about people up to something supernatural.
Yeah.
Be careful who you hang out with is all they're saying here. If there's a downside, it's that when you take it as God or the devil sending you people and you're trying to judge it based on some stirring from the Spirit, you're putting too much emphasis on your personal intuition versus good judgment. That's all I'll say. Otherwise, I'm going to start going on one of my little things. So
yeah, I gotcha. We're wrapping up here. We're getting close to the end. Again, this was the short version.
I think it's weird that it looked like he was drinking a beer too. I thought
it does. Weird. I think it's like a glass. It's like a little sody pop. It's a little. What it is? It does look very small, doesn't it? What's up with that? That's weird. I didn't question that until now.
Very small bottle of urine.
You caught me off guard with that one. I didn't expect that. I was going to make some joke about how bottles were smaller in the 90s or whatever. Cosby Show was the 90s, right? No, it was the 80s.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, it's 80s. I don't know because I only watched the reruns, but 80s, I guess. Bottles were smaller in the 80s. That's the thing there. Okay, so here's another one. Again, theological. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't introduce the category. The category for this one and this next one are theological implications that are questionable within memes. There's a couple of those that are like this. This one is also in this category. It says, now, I don't know if this is a quote from this program. I don't know what show this is, to be honest with you. I don't think it's a quote. I think this is Christians taking a scene and then pretending that's what the words they're saying are, which to be fair is not a thing that just Christians do. Teenage girls on Tumblr will do it for Sherlock and Doctor Who. I mean, there's all kinds of people participate in this sort of memery. And it says, now, mama, you don't have to go to church to go to heaven. And she says, well, you don't have to wear a parachute to jump out of an airplane either, but it certainly helps. Now, this is supposed to be a witty comeback to those youths who don't want to go to church anymore. But you don't go to heaven then if you don't go to church. Like, that is the implication. That's a little, I don't know how I feel about that. There's a lot of people that don't have access to a church,
And this analogy kind of just falls apart when you think about it for 5 seconds, because you don't have to go to church to go to heaven. You don't have to wear a parachute to jump out of an airplane.
Yeah.
She's trying to say you're going to get there either way, right? But it helps.
Yeah.
But then if you're
the goal here? Is the goal to get to the ground? Because we're getting
if you're going to make the analogy very direct, going to heaven is hitting the ground.
Yeah.
So is going to heaven like flattening like a pancake and dying if you don't go to church, and it's good if you do go to church? Obviously, we're reading too much into this and we're making the analogy more direct than it should be. But I think in doing that, we're showing that this is vapid and really just means literally nothing.
Yeah, I think we put more thought into it just now in the past 30 seconds than the person who made this meme. But I could be wrong. That's speculation on my part. Is this the last one here? Yeah, last one here. So this one is another one I want to read from an article here, which says hormones prove women are to be keepers at home. Now, okay, this image just like made me say, what the fuck? Can you guess where I got this image from? Because this is from a source that you're aware of.
I know this would unironically catch fire on Facebook or on Twitter. I know that.
Yeah.
But where did you find it?
This is from the Transformed Wife blog, of course.
Oh, you don't say.
Of course. So this one, I have another link to a blog where I was like, what is this? So first I found this on Transformed Wife's Instagram. Transformed Wife, what she does is she posts little titles like this to get people to say, huh, what's this? So you can click on her blog. And it worked for me. I will say this, because I was like, what the fuck does this even mean? Like, I don't even understand. So basically, Transform Wife, and by the way, everything I'm saying here, this is all posted on her blog. This is public knowledge. She's telling people about this, okay? Transform Wife said that she has a condition.
Hey, Dan?
Yes.
Dan, sorry, can you give me a second? I'll step away. Can you just carry on for the audience?
Yes, I'll do that for sure.
Okay, I'll be back in just a minute.
All right. Zod is going to go scream in another room because I mentioned the Transformed Wife. But the idea is this, okay? The Transformed Wife has a condition which she needs to take some hormones as part of a therapy for, right? And I won't go into the details. She goes into it a little bit. But she's saying that the book that she read about other women who are taking this hormones because of her condition kind of reiterate her agenda, which is that women are supposed to be kept in the home because these hormones are supposed to be helpful in having a personality that basically appeals to what a woman should be, which is helpful, cheery, not as assertive, not as dominant, right? And so basically she's like, oh, this book kind of reasserts my agenda, so I'm going to post about it here on my blog and talk about how hormones prove that women's are to be keepers at home. I think this is really funny because for some reason, like, okay, if hormones like say something about your gender or prove something like about who you are, then why is it a big deal that trans people get hormones so that they can assert themselves as like the gender that they want to be? Like if you're okay, in fact, if you think that hormones do in fact contribute to the identity of being a woman, then it seems like you would be totally fine with trans women getting the hormones that they need. I just don't think it's fair that you get to have the hormones that you get to have, and you get to have it for your condition, but people who suffer from gender dysphoria, they don't get to have hormones for some reason. Like you get to gatekeep other people's hormones. It doesn't make sense to me. I shame on you, Transformed Life, for saying that trans women aren't women and that you get all the hormones for some reason because you're special. I don't know. But yeah, it's a very, very sort of off the cuff meme here, but I just wanted to end it on like a real what the fuck kind of note, because that's just what I thought. This is just what I saw on Instagram. So I don't know if you caught all of that, but I did explain to the audience. So
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. I just want everybody to know I wasn't up because I'm old and I had to pee. It was something other than that.
No, I explained that you had to go scream in the other room because I mentioned the transformed wife.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine. So yeah, that's it. That's my meme corner. Again, this was the short version of the slide. I had another one that had like 30 memes on there. We got through about 20 at that one.
That would have carried us through the rest of the night.
That it would have, but you know, we